Hello again, everybody. This is Derek, and I am coming back at you with another Wargaming and Miniature video. In this video, what I'd like to do is show off some of the finished commission works that I've done, and I call it, What Have I Done? Yeah, and this customer didn't want me to base his figures for him. He's going to base them himself. So all the figures are loose, and I'm getting ready to package these up and send it to him. So before I do that, I wanted to show you guys what I had completed. And I have 3 commissions from this customer, one French, one Prussian, and this one, which is Russian. I have some Russian infantry, and I have this Russian artillery. This is hat. It comes with 4 guns, 4 horses, and 6 crew per gun. And so this is 1/72 soft plastic, or 20 millimeter. My understanding is he's planning on basing these up for Napoleon's battles. So he's only going to need 3 crew members per gun. And he's not going to need the horses unless he's planning on making like limber bases. When the artillery gets limbered up, but usually you just have a loose gun on the base and you turn it around. Now this set allows you to build a variety of different gun configurations. I made 2 6-pounders and 2 12-pounders. Yeah, I think they came out really, really good. I was very pleased. I used a different wash on these than I normally do. It's a lot darker tone, but it didn't darken the white pants up or the green jackets or anything as much as I thought it would. But it did bring it. It did enhance the gaps and the creases and stuff like that, the where the straps are and stuff like that. I think it came out really good. Now, I'm not very pleased with the hat figures. They seem like they are low quality compared to the Zvezda or the artillery figures. But let me go ahead and pull out some more figures. All right, now this is the first group of 24. The infantry are made up of 2 different sets. It would be Zvezda, and I think it's artillery. The Zvezda have the tall plumes, and the artillery either have no plume or a skinny plume. You can see the size of the figures are a little bit different. The Zvezda ones seem to be a lot bulkier and bigger. They're still labeled as 1/72. So, I don't know, maybe they're supposed to be bigger men, which they are, because these are all Russian grenadiers. The Russians only had a handful of grenadier battalions, but they also had grenadiers in their line battalions, as part of the elite companies. Now, in the grenadier battalions, they have their own elites, and those are the ones with the white tips on the top. Now, the only two command in this 24 figure set is the officer and a flutist. And I think these came out really well also. I hope my customer likes what I've done for him, because I do. I think they came out really well. And normally I don't paint the bases, or if I do paint the base, I'll paint it a brown color, because when I put it on the figure base or the stand, I'll put like an earth texture paste on the stand, and I'll also like put it on the, it'll cover the base of the figure as well. And so and then everything would be like brown or whatever. But because he doesn't want me to base these for him, I decided to go ahead and paint the figures bases as well. All right, let's pull out another battalion. Okay, and this is the 2nd Battalion. You'll notice that the only command in this is the drummer right there. And one of the elites, has his hand out. So he could be in charge. But there's no officer like standing with a sword. Because in these two sets that I put together, they both didn't have, a full command. They only had one command set in each box. Yeah, just looking at these two figures, you can kind of see a size difference. Now, something I wanted to point out, soft plastic has a tendency or a compunction to flake off. The paint will flake off if not done properly. So the first thing you need to do is make sure you wash the figure with soap and water and a soft bristle brush. I go through with this nylon brush that I use to wash all my figures, and I do it in the bathroom sink, where I put hand soap in there because it's a gentle soap, and I basically scrub down every single figure to get all the mold release off. And then what I did was I sprayed it with an actual Krylon, or maybe it's Rust-Oleum primer, which has the ability to melt into. I thought about self-etching primer, but just regular primer will work. I used gray primer. Just your standard gray Rust-Oleum primer, because it's good for plastics. A lot like the Krylon Fusion, because that's also good on plastics, soft plastics. But on top of the gray primer, I used Vallejo white brush-on primer. It's you can use it in an airbrush with thinner, or you can just brush it on. But I brushed it on, and I used a fairly stiff brush to work it into all the different cracks and crevices. And I always like to, on the brush primers, I like to do 2 coats, because the gray would shine through. So now once I got all the primers on, That's 3 layers of primer, which I thought was ridiculous. But for soft plastic figures, I didn't want my customer to have any kind of problem with his paint coming off of his figures. And then I went to painting the figures. And then once the figures were done painted, I always use a wash. And on these, I also used that dark wash I was mentioning. And then I use a AK. Well, it's actually a mix. It's the Vallejo Mecha varnish and the AK Ultra Flat or Ultra Matte varnish. I put 50/50 in a bottle, and I use that as the dull coat. But it also protects the paint job. So yeah, there was a lot of work that went into just protecting the paint. All right, let me show you the 3rd battalion. All right, and I've decided to just go ahead and put the last 2 battalions on here. One of the sets, I think it might have been the Eshi or the artillery set, came with a flag bearer. And I had to, that was a kind of a pain to paint the flag with all the symbols on it and everything, but I think it came out okay. I took my time on that flag, and you see that there's a drummer and there's an officer there. There is an officer here and a bugler up there. Yeah, I couldn't fit the 2nd battalion on there because 1st battalion was taking too much space. But yeah, that's what I did. I did 4. I guess in Napoleon's battles it would be brigades of 24 figures. You mount on 4 figures of base, a lot like every other Napoleonic game you've played. But they have their 3/4 by 1 inch bases for 15 millimeter. I'm not sure what the conversion would be for his 20 millimeter, but they recommend doubling everything for 25 millimeter. So if 20 is halfway between 15 and 25, then take the measurements and multiply it by 1.5. That's what I'm thinking. All right, so that is what I've been working on over the last couple of weeks. I need to box these up and ship them out to him, and I'm going to be starting on his French, and so that will be the next set of figures that I do on the What Have I Done videos. And if you like what I do on my commissions, you should email me at my email address. And if you just want to pick up some figures, you should check out my eBay store located right there. All right, guys, I'll catch you in the next one.